Am I the asshole for walking out of a restaurant because my girlfriend ordered spaghetti? I, 25 male. Am dating a woman, 24, named Allie. We moved in together 5 months ago and I really love her a lot. Allie just doesn't have great table manners. She eats noisily and sloppily. In a restaurant environment, usually this isn't too bad because of the natural ambient sound. In a quiet room, it's much more noticeable. I don't exactly like it, but usually I can tolerate it. However, when Allie eats pasta, she slurps her noodles so loudly that people from other tables look. It's completely mortifying to hear people murmur about her loud slurping all the time. I know this might be normal in some cultures, but from where I'm from in the US, it looks really uncultured and bothers some people who are more sensitive to sounds. I've tried to teach her how to use a spoon to spin the pasta into a ball. Nope, she doesn't want to. I've tried to ask her to take smaller bites. Nope. That's how she eats pasta and that's how she'll always eat pasta. We've been to a local Italian restaurant half a dozen times, and each time but one, in a basically empty restaurant, she humiliated me with her loud slurpee eating. I know I shouldn't care what other people think, but I agree with the patrons. It's disgusting. People are trying to enjoy a meal. I finally got frustrated one day and told her that I wouldn't eat noodles with her in public anymore. She can eat alone, or she can go with friends. I'll happily drive her to the restaurant, but I will not sit down with her. She kind of blew off my message with a, "Oh yeah, you're perfect so I get it," and I thought that was that. Last night, Allie really wanted to go to our local Italian place again. I asked her if she would be ordering spaghetti. She rolled her eyes and said she'd get the lasagna. I agreed that was fine and we went out for the first time in a while. When the waitress came to take our order, Allie completely went back on her promise and ordered spaghetti. I told the waitress I wouldn't be needing anything, stood up, and walked to our car. I relaxed in the car listening to a podcast until Allie came out a while later. She sat down and started giving me the silent treatment. When we got home she yelled at me about embarrassing her, would not let me say a single word without shrieking over me, and said that she's only interested in an apology. I refused and she went to another room to loudly talk shit about me to herself, intentionally so I could hear. I don't know if I went too far. You really want a girlfriend with the table manners of a 10-year-old, who cannot distinguish between what's acceptable in public versus private, and want change? Not the asshole, but it's a losing battle. Accept her or ditch her. I have to go with not the asshole. If she's slurping loud enough to draw attention every time she has noodles, that's too much. And it's not like you're telling her she's not allowed to eat noodles, just not at a restaurant with you. She can make spaghetti at home. Slurping is more acceptable in many Asian cultures. Take her to a local Japanese or Chinese place and she won't seem so out of place. Not the asshole. I'm an American. I'm told if I travel to other locations I need to be respectful of the culture. Such as, when in Japan, don't talk on the phone on a train. When in Greece, don't give someone a thumbs up, it's considered obscene. Slurping noodles is considered rude and gross in the US. She's not being respectful of the people around her, not even you. I wouldn't sit through that either. Not the asshole. Some quirks are cute and some make you lose the appetite. She should hang out with the girl who used to put sauce on her spaghetti and wash it to have the essence of tomato sauce on it. Not the asshole but YNC = you're not compatible. Not the asshole. This is coming from a 19-year-old girl who has been compared to a garbage disposal and Kirby, and who has been told that it's disturbing to watch me eat lol. Being in the comfort of your own home is one thing, but it's not that hard to clean up and change manners when out in public. In fact, it's quite easy. The way you dealt with it wasn't great, however you did warn her and she didn't handle the situation well either. Not the asshole, and she just sounds like an absolute sweetheart. She seriously goes into another room to yell shit about you to punish you for holding to a boundary you made her very well aware of? JFC, she has problems that go way beyond poor table manners. Time to find someone who isn't utterly unhinged. Not the asshole. Consistently obnoxious eating would be a relationship dealbreaker for me. I absolutely cannot stand eating noises. It's bad enough when my husband eats soup only sometimes. Lol. Am I the asshole for not presenting a united front with my wife in front of our daughter? Our daughter came home from college for spring break. First time we'd seen her since Christmas, and before Christmas we hadn't seen her since we dropped her off. She's put on quite a lot of weight during her freshman year. I was pretty shocked by it. My wife, though, seemed downright angry. Rather than discuss it with me beforehand so that we could work out some nuance in our approach, My wife decided that body shaming our daughter, asking her how much she weighed now, and telling her how wrong it was that she overate was the way to go, which was obviously soul-crushing to my daughter. The issue that my wife has with me is that when she told our daughter that, "Your father and I want you to know that you can't just keep getting bigger and bigger," I stepped in and said I wanted no part of that sentiment. My wife got pissed and stormed upstairs. I took the opportunity to talk to my daughter and found out that she, contrary to my wife's thinking, wasn't just sitting in a dorm stuffing her face for the fun of it. She's found the year stressful and that's led to comfort eating. And #X200B. Am I the asshole? Ever heard of the freshman 15? Happens to everyone. First year of college, stress, classes, eat. Stress. Classes, eat, and repeat. Tell your wife, act like a mom and not a bully. Not the asshole. Instead of hurting your daughter, you learned why. Now you can see if there is anything that can help with that stress. Your wife was adding to that stress. The body shaming, if left unaddressed, may make it worse or even lead to an eating disorder. Not the asshole. You did good if you didn't support your wife's position, or if you thought it was just plain wrong, then you are not obligated to support her just because you are married. This marriage goes two ways. If she feels you are obligated to support her, then she is obligated to let you know what she is going to do as opposed to acting unilaterally and expecting you to follow her like a trained dog. On the flip side, your approach of taking to your daughter compassionately and finding out what happened before going off on her was the correct approach. What your wife did was just plain cruel and abusive. I salute you for your mature approach to the situation and I hope your wife grows up soon before she destroys her relationship with her daughter permanently. Our daughter came home from college for spring break. Okay, she's an adult, making the united front somewhat less important. You're likely in the clear already. The issue that my wife has with me is that when she told our daughter that, "Your father and I want you to know that you can't just keep getting bigger and bigger," I stepped in and said I wanted no part of that sentiment. You're completely in the clear. She does not get to speak for you in this situation without having discussed it beforehand. You're not the asshole, neither is your daughter. Your wife is an asshole for body shaming, and for blindly assuming you'll take her side in doing so. Not the asshole. Your wife's method of dealing with the issue is downright abusive and cruel. You did the right thing by talking to her and asking what is going on. You are not the asshole. Your wife is. Is she for real? She needs therapy stat. Your daughter is now an adult, and your wife has to let go of her controlling instincts. Also, she took the absolute worst tack in confronting your daughter about this. Your daughter could probably also stand to attend a few sessions with a therapist, both to deal with the stress of freshman year and to learn how to deal with what will inevitably be a tense phase in her relationship with her mother. Finally, you may want to consider family counseling for the three of you. It sounds like there's a lot of things that aren't being said. Not the asshole maybe. Maybe there was a gentler way to shut down your wife's berating, but the important thing was to shut it down immediately, which you did. Stress eating can get out of control and lead to health problems, but shaming the eater is almost always counterproductive. Not the asshole. Is your wife not familiar with the fact that it's so common for people to gain weight their first year that there's a name for it? The freshman 15. The combination of stress, not having a parent around, and often very unhealthy campus dining food hits a lot of people. Your daughter doubtless is aware that she's put on your weight. Your wife has incredibly low emotional intelligence if she thinks bullying people over their weight does the slightest bit of good. Am I the asshole for refusing to wait for my sisters to arrive so they ended up missing the trip to Japan? In the time before the beer virus, I, 26F, planned a trip to Japan with my best friend, Kathy, and my two sisters, Rose and Amber. The issue came when I said, well, due to the airport being 2 hours away and traffic being hard to judge, I want to leave at 6 a.m. Kathy agreed with me. Rose and Amber said, hell no. They wanted to leave at 9 a.m., get there at 11 a.m., for our 1 p.m. flight. I said we would just take 2 cars. This caused another argument because they wanted to ride together. I said this was not a discussion, either ride with us or take another car. They said they would ride with us. I said we leave at 6 a.m., so you have to be there ready to go. 6:10 and no sign of my sisters, so I call them. No answer. I try again, no answer. So, we left. I get a text at 6:45 saying, we overslept. We are on our way. I texted them that we had left, we were headed to the airport. Amber asked if I could turn around. I said, we are halfway to the airport, no. They ended up saying they would meet us there and I thought nothing of it. We parked, went through TSA, got the gate. And when I checked my phone again, Amber said, "We need you to come back, our car isn't starting. Dad is already at work and cannot get back in time." I texted them that we were already at the gate, waiting to board in an hour. They said they could not afford the taxi to the airport and would get a later flight. They ended up canceling and staying home, because there were no open flights for a few days. This has since caused a huge rift in our relationship. They feel like I was too harsh and should have waited until 7 a.m. for them to arrive. I told them I had been serious the whole time, had not said I would wait, and I was not gonna miss out on a trip because they didn't want to wake up early. Am I the asshole?